call the meeting to order for the January meeting of the Huntington Township Planning Commission. I want to thank everyone that's braved the cold to come out here tonight. Didn't look too good last night, but we got the roads cleared out and just cold. So, first order of business is public comment on this agenda items. If there's any, not hearing any, I'll move on. We got to approve the minutes of the November 24th meeting. That was the last meeting because we had to cancel the December meeting. So you have the minutes of everybody have a copy of the minutes of the November meeting?
Yep.
Yep. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Not hearing any. Entertain a motion to accept November's minutes for record.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Marlon. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Tom. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Zoning officers report. Scott?
For the month of December, I issued 2 well permits, 2 building permits, and 2 exemptions. You also have the building reports for MDIA inspections there, as well as detailed information on the permits that I issued.
Okay.
And we received 1 application for a special exception for the property on South Ridge Road, requested by the SQMA. It's the Susquehanna Images Association. And there's some individuals here to talk to you about that later on the agenda.
Okay. Is there anything else on the, I think you said there's a plan submitted for next month.
And the engineer's report.
And the engineer's report.
We received 1 plan, 1 single lot subdivision.
Okay.
That'll be on the agenda for review for next month.
Okay.
So there's my engineer's report.
That's, all right. All set. Next item is new business, and the first item on that is the SQMA special exception application discussion. I'll clarify before you present anything. I mean, we don't make recommendations on this board to the zoning hearing board. So just so you're aware of that. I mean, because we're not, it goes directly to them. So just so you're aware of, and we'll look, go ahead. I mean, but.
Would you like me to go ahead and?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, if you can, and please identify yourself and give us an idea of what you're hoping to accomplish here with us.
Sure. My name is Eric Coley. I'm the attorney for the applicant SQMA. With me I have president of SQMA, Travis Horan, and the treasurer, Caitlin Zellers, and some young racers who participate in the program. The reason I wanted to give the Planning Commission an opportunity to review our application and hear about it is because of the application pathway that we have taken so far and how we got to the special exception application that we have now filed. The original application was for a permit application for a private club, which is a permitted use in the commercial industrial zone. Ultimately, the zoning hearing board determined that while they didn't necessarily have an issue with the use that was being requested, by permitting a permit for a private club in a commercial industrial zone in the way that we did, it exposed the other districts in the township to similar types of permit applications that did not have appropriate protections in place for the surrounding property owners. So following that, our last zoning hearing, We spoke to the township solicitor, we spoke with Scott Longstreth, the zoning officer, to come up with an alternative application pathway, because what we're asking to do is not provided for, what we envisioned doing was not provided for under the ordinance. So Scott recommended that we apply under the catch-all provision, uses not provided for, as a motorized sports facility. And then I had a follow-up conversation with Scott Longstreth and Todd King, the solicitor with the township, to go over some suggested proposed conditions of approval that the zoning hearing board would apply that specifically speak to noise levels, dust control areas, time and dates of operation for their activities, which will be limited. So that's the broad strokes of how we got here and why we wanted to present to the Planning Commission. I know that these meetings are televised, and while we had no objectors at our zoning hearing board appeal, I still thought it would be a good opportunity to give the public the chance to come out and hear what the applicant had to say and give them a chance to field any questions. So if the Planning Commission has any questions for the board members of SQMA about how their races are conducted, how they're organized as a NASCAR-sponsored, U-Series-sponsored organization, they're here in attendance and happy to do that.
I'd also like to note that each of you have received a copy of the application and all the relevant information that was submitted for your review.
Right. Can you walk us through the process that you've gone through so far? Because again, some of that, we're blind to some of that.
Sure.
And just educate, whatever, four of us tonight on what the outcome has been. We hear about it, of course.
Sure.
But what the outcome has been, what changes you made or are making, if any, to go down this path of a special exception. And I take your point that this is an opportunity for you to educate us and educate other members of the township. Good point. But walk us through, if you thought, if there is anything that you thought we could be doing to either stop this or move it along, or whatever your goal. You obviously didn't want to stop it.
Right.
But whatever your goal was with us. Just so I understand, I'm a little fuzzy on where you're headed with this right now, and the background would help.
So how it started is originally SQMA signed a lease with Carl Leach, who is the property owner for the subject property. He has an existing equestrian facility with indoor arena and 3 separate outdoor riding rings. The Exhibit B in the planning application has a copy of
All that at the site in question? Okay.
The facilities that SQMA leased from Carl Leach are all existing facilities. He has existing parking, he has a dirt track that is ideally suited for quarter midget cars, which are small 100cc to 120cc cars designed for children to race in. And so it was the physical characteristics and property of the property itself, and given its location in the commercial industrial zone, made it seem like it would be ideal for what SQMA wanted to do. Under the ordinance, there was we weren't able to find a defined term in the commercial industrial zone that would fit what SQMA wanted to do. There was something close, like an outdoor recreational something, but that expressly prohibited go-karts or motorized kart racing, so we couldn't use that.
Okay.
My proposed solution was to apply as a private club. Private clubs are pretty broadly defined under the ordinance. It allows for everything between religious organizations, political organizations, to gun clubs, hunting clubs, and the way that the parameters are set in place in the ordinance, it made it possible for them to apply for a permit. The permitting process, however, this doesn't allow the Board of Supervisors through a conditional use application or the zoning hearing board through a special exception application to provide any sort of safeguards outside of what's required in the ordinance for the surrounding property owners. So ultimately, Scott denied my permit application because he determined that what we were asking for as a private club really isn't going to get us there. So we decided to appeal to the zoning hearing board based on his determination, with the thinking being that once we had the opportunity to explain why we applied for what we applied for, how the property is being used, and how our proposed use is in line with that. We're not proposing any sort of new development or construction or facilities. We're using everything that's in place there. But as I said, the zoning hearing board ultimately determined that if they were to grant our private club application as a permitted use, that might open the door for other private clubs to do a broad range of activities in a residential use,
Right.
conservation area,
Okay.
that sort of an issue. So it's not necessarily what SQMA wants to do, or that they don't have permission from the property owner. We, at the zoning hearing board hearing, we didn't have any objectors show up in opposition to our application. I think that's relevant here as well. It's what's the best way for SQMA to apply for zoning relief so that they can hold their races on the leash.
Thank you. So then the second part of my question, other than exposure to your approach on a special exception, what else, if anything, were you hoping to accomplish then with us this evening?
To allow for anyone who may not have had the chance to attend the zoning hearing board hearing to come out and learn more about what SQMA does and how they intend to use the property. The nature of my appeal was based on an appeal of the permit application materials only. We did not present any new testimony or evidence during the hearing because it was an appeal based on the law. So if someone had no one showed up, but if they had, then we did not have anyone from SQMA in attendance to answer those questions at that time.
So what's the status of your appeal right now then?
We have not appealed the zoning hearing board's denial.
Okay, all right, what's your intention? If you know it, I mean.
We're still considering what our options are right now. I don't think there's any intent to appeal. I think we have determined what the township's concerns are,
Okay.
specifically for the surrounding property owners, and what the limitations should be on SQMA's racing activities on the property. So outside of that, I don't anticipate a second denial from the zoning hearing board, given the conversations we've had with them so far. Of course, there's no promises, but I think we're in agreement on the application pathway this time.
Okay, so it would be a reapplication?
So we've already applied.
Okay.
We've reapplied for a special exception.
Okay.
That
That's done,
application is
okay.
pending. We haven't gotten to our zoning hearing.
Is it scheduled?
It hasn't been scheduled yet.
Okay. I guess if I may, Ted,
Yeah, go ahead.
the other thing that would be helpful to me, if anybody asks us for our assessment here, which is possible, but not in a formal sense, kind of walk us through, you or anybody who's here, how this would, you don't have to give me the long explanation, but how this would work, what kind of impact it has on the neighbors, what kind of impact it would have in the sense the zoning hearing board brought it up to begin with, is if there's something granted here, what broader implications do we have for the rest of the township? So give us a little bit of that flavor.
Okay, so that the two board members present, one is Kayla, she's the treasurer, in case you have any questions about how the association is organized, but also the president, Travis, is here to speak to how the races are conducted and how they're limited to members only, but to
Let's answer both those questions. That would be good to have both
I
those.
want to give Travis a chance to respond to some of your questions, but we did talk to the township solicitor, Anthony Scott, about a list of proposed conditions to be placed on approval, because we are applying as a use not provided for.
Yeah.
So it's just general requirements in the commercial industrial district, which far exceed the level of impact that we're going to have. So to speak directly to what we will be doing, we came up with a list of 5 conditions. One, races will not run later than 8 p.m. Races will be limited to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's for just the surrounding property owners to know that there's not going to be any late night activity on a Wednesday before somebody has to get up and go to work. And also, these are children's activities, so they're working around school calendars and you know, the daytime calendar of children. Also, the impact of the races on the property, specifically, what sort of dust is it going to generate? And one of the conditions is that there will be a water container on site to provide dust control. That they already provide that at their races, so that's part of their racing activity. There was a question about sewer connection. There is no on-site sewer. Carl Leach currently uses porta potties for all of his equestrian events. Those are going to remain on site, and then SQMA proposes to bring additional independent porta potties in a reasonable amount as a condition to each one of their racing events.
Okay.
I guess I'd have a question. It doesn't, you don't have to answer this, but pertaining to adhering to the noise levels that are allowed in the industrial zone, and are you going to, you'll have to probably address that in the zoning hearing board.
So I got through 4 conditions. The 5th condition was noise.
Okay.
Sorry to get that's enough. They are going to put mufflers on all of the quarter midget cars, which they're small cars to begin with, but they're going to have exhaust mufflers as a condition. That's 1. 2, the sound level restrictions in the commercial industrial zone are targeted towards heavy commercial industrial activity. So we will be far beyond, but below those thresholds. That being said, there's nothing in the ordinance that limits a private property owner's right to file a nuisance, noise complaint with the zoning officer to enforce the general rules about noise or bring a private committment.
Yeah, but nobody would want to get to that.
No, we don't
Yeah.
get to that,
Yeah.
but this might be a good opportunity. I know that Travis spoke with Gus in the past
Okay.
about sound levels. Do you want to walk through the discussion you had with Gus?
Actually, the noise on 15 would probably be louder than what that is.
You're 100% right on that. We had Gus, when we started working with Gus to do all this, he reached out to us and wanted to do a noise level of his own, so he could bring it to attention or if anybody complained. So he had us all get together, I think it was in January or February, I can't remember the date anymore. Cold, like it is now, cold, miserable out. We brought 10 cars with us. We sat down at the property where the racetrack would sit, fired all 10 cars up, Gus drove to the top of the hill with Carl, and they couldn't hear him. I personally walked halfway up the lane at Carl's, and you couldn't hear him. And he come down, he told us, he's like, yep, I couldn't hear nothing. He told me at that point that he would provide us paperwork. We never saw it, and obviously then he was fired in the end, so. But the noise, 3 lawnmowers running is louder than these cars going to
Have
get.
you ever measured the noise level, like at 10 feet, 100 feet? And
Yeah, we did with the phone app. at different locations, and like he said, 15 was louder than what the cars are running beside the track.
What was the level?
70.
70 decibels at what distance?
Probably from here to the wall.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we can have a conversation just like this standing beside the racetrack.
okay,
It's not what most people think when you hear racetrack, you hear 410 sprint car or something. It's not. They're not that.
yeah,
They're
okay,
literally little lawnmowers.
okay.
I mean, it's not like I can hear Lincoln, if the weather's
Oh yeah.
operating, I can hear Lincoln sometimes coming across.
Yep. No, I understand.
But-
It's-
It's also worth noting the track that they're intending to use on Carl Leach's property is the central track, which is centrally located on 33 acres. In fact, you know, it's on the back part of the
Understood. Okay, okay, thank you. How is it organized, Kayla, if you could talk to us about that?
So we're affiliated with the NASCAR Youth Organization. Basically, when you look at how that membership works, I would say, to give you guys an explanation, it's kind of like the American Legion and how the Elks Club is ran. You have a headquarters unit, that's kind of the NASCAR Youth Series for us. You have a due that you pay to them, you're a member of their organization.
Okay.
And mostly it's the liability. They provide the insurance for all of the members, all of the handlers who are associated. So that's a family membership that you purchase. And then you have your local chapters, your local host, and that's one of us. We're for the club. And then there's different organizations, different clubs. You're allowed to race within those different clubs as long as you're a member of the NASCAR Youth Organization. But you have to be a member of a club and plus the NASCAR Youth Organization.
And how many members are in your specific club?
Well, with us not operating last year, we're probably down to about 15 to 20 right now.
Okay,
A
okay,
lot of drivers retired last year, they aged out at 16. So once you get to that point.
sounds funny. Yeah,
At that
yeah,
point,
yeah, okay. And how many cars does that represent? Is it about 1-to-1
I don't understand.
of your the racing vehicles?
Yeah, two families, like we have 2 children.
Okay.
We have 6 cars.
Okay, that's what I was looking for, okay. All
We
right.
still only have 2 kids.
Yeah.
That's one family.
So
Okay,
you have one driver and you can have multiple.
okay.
So typically at a race, how many cars are running at a time, at one race?
Max of 10.
Max 10, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
I will say, I did take time and read through a lot of this information, and I was very impressed, very detailed. I like some of the points about the volunteers and how you go down through the line. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I appreciate you guys going through and providing this to us.
It's all volunteer. I mean, we're a 501c3, so everything that we do, it's all nonprofit. It's all by our club members. So just putting that out there, we couldn't do it without our club and the volunteers that do that. So appreciate that.
Well, this is helpful to us. I don't know what good it does other than the exposure issue, but it's certainly helpful to us to understand it. And I will say, I have a better, as Marlon said, a better and more useful understanding that might have actually helped at the very beginning in some of the earlier discussions. So maybe there's a lesson there when communicating very, very early. The planning commission, we have lane, we have our lane, and that lane sometimes crosses over supervisors, sometimes it doesn't. But certainly our recommendations can be helpful to you and to them, and the positions that we take and the understanding of in working with Scott, certainly understanding useful approaches, effective approaches, better word, effective approaches in addressing our zoning regulations, and that's really a big part of our role. So coming to us early, I think might have been helpful. Coming to us now is better than never, I guess is what I would say. So that answers my questions, and I appreciate it. It's impressive, and I think you do some really good things for the organization, and if it can be appropriately utilized in this township, I think that's probably a good outcome, but it has to fit.
I had a question over there. Maria,
Just a quick question. The people that spoke, could they just identify themselves and their positions in the organization, please?
That should be in our notes anyway.
I was just going to ask
Yeah.
to verify spellings too, so it's good for the record. Eric, how do you spell your last name?
Holey,
And what firm are you with?
NPO law firm.
NPL. Okay. And Travis, you're a president. How do you spell your last name?
HORAN.
HORAN. And I'm sorry.
Sorry, Kayla, Kayli, Zellers, Zellers.
And you're treasurer, correct?
Treasurer, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, I'm good.
anybody have any further questions?
No, I'm all for clean family youth organizations, so.
And like I said, we're not in a position to make formal recommendations,
I
so,
understand that.
but we appreciate you coming to us early and educating us on what your plans are, so.
Our understanding is that people do watch the YouTube videos,
Yes.
and this is an active community, and so we wanted to get more information out
Good.
there for the public. Yeah.
That's a good approach.
I do have one question. Is there plans for future expansion in that site? I mean, you don't have to answer that, but I just question.
For SQMA,
Yeah,
I don't think there's any intention of
okay.
going outside of what's already there.
Which, I mean, that's something that, if you would, you'd have to come back before, boards anyhow, so.
Correct.
Is there anything else we should know, Scott, from your perspective that we haven't brought up?
No, he covered it quite well. That's completely my understanding of the situation.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you
For reviewing our application,
Good luck.
and giving us the time to come out tonight.
Thank you for coming out in this frigid weather.
Thanks for holding the meeting.
It was close.
Next item, okay, discussion of planning commission candidates. I think we received, I know we received, finally. We received one from Carl Leach and also one from Cody Lear. I don't know, is Carl here? You're Carl? Okay, so both of you here. Tom, I think what we're talking off the record, we were saying that we're going to we'll talk to you, and then the board will have to go into an executive session, and then we'll come back out. So we have a couple questions we'd like to have you answer, and I guess the first one, Cody, why do you want to be on the planning commission? I mean, what's your...
Well, this actually isn't my first time putting a letter of interest for this. My family's been involved with this township, put it back to my grandpa. I attend a lot of the meetings. I have been since I was a little kid. And a lot of people are getting a little older. And I think we got to get some younger people in the community to get involved with this. And I think there's some valuable input that I could bring, especially with going through the zoning ordinance now like we are with the county. Be a good time for me to be able to be up there and put some input on that and some of the changes that we're getting ready to make. So I've done it in the past sitting out here. I'm a little bit older now, so I feel I would be fit enough to do it.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions, Tom?
No, that's,
Carl,
Carl,
you want to answer that same question?
Same question, something
Yeah.
different? Yeah, I think you need some new blood. It would definitely do the township good to get, insight on someone who's lived here, but it's not, and don't take any offense to this, but it's not 70 years old. To let's get a little bit, I'm not saying you're 70, but you understand what I'm saying.
I'm over that.
Okay, then you look good for that.
We've been insulted by everybody.
You know, I think it'd be good because same thing like with what happened with Gus that, you know, I went through firsthand. You know, it'd be nice to get away from how everything's been done in the past, just because that's the way we do it, to let's get back to this is the way things are done according to the books, and, you know, it's going to be a betterment for the township. You know, I've been here for 30, right at 30 years, and not much has changed. And, you know, some change would be good.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No, if I could just talk process for 1 second. So we've been asked by the supervisors to make a recommendation. That's all it is, a recommendation. So when we come out of executive session, I hope we'll have a recommendation, won't be tied 2 to 2 here, but our goal is to have a recommendation coming out of executive session. That'll be public. We'll have an open vote and say what our recommendation is. That will be passed through the minutes to the planning commission, or to the supervisors, which is to here anyway. And then at the next meeting, the supervisors will make a decision on who the next planning commissioner. All right.
Question. Before you go into executive session, on the website it indicated for further information about letters of interest, it indicated that it would be announced at the February meeting.
That's correct.
It will, the supervisors will announce it.
Announce their
Yeah,
decision.
if they choose to at the February
Planning
meeting.
Commission don't make the decision.
Yeah, it'll be what I said. We'll give them the information necessary that they can make the announcement at the February meeting. I don't see any reason they wouldn't.
I didn't think it said Board of Supervisors, but thank you for explaining that.
All right,
So in reality,
Yes,
the
Mark.
Board of Supervisors could actually pick somebody up.
they could.
That's right.
They could always do that. You are exactly right.
You're correct.
Yep. And of course, for everybody's benefit, you know this, the Board of Supervisors can do something else than we recommend 100% of the time on any issue. Okay, let's,
Yeah, I guess at this point we'll break and go to an executive session and retire to the secretary's office. And when we come back out, then we'll resume.
thanks for your patience.
I think in all the years I've been on this board, that's the first executive session the planning commission's ever had. Okay. After our discussion, I entertain a motion to recommend Cody Lear to the planning commission.
I will make that motion.
Motion made by Tom. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Marlon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. And none. So,
Thank you guys, I appreciate it, and see where it goes from there.
Yep.
all right.
And thank you, Carl, for putting in your name.
Yeah.
And I expect since there's so many old people on the board, we'll have some openings
I was
there.
gonna say, as time goes by, they may,
I'll watch.
Good. And come to meetings.
Yeah.
It matters.
yeah.
Just say that.
I'm just gonna come into the ones where it's been important to me lately.
Understood.
Yeah.
That's understood.
All right. Next order of business is old business is zoning ordinance discussion. So, Andrew Marker from Adams County Planning is here.
And you're all willing to stay? Yeah,
Willing to stay.
or yeah, or
You're welcome to stay.
yeah, if logic would dictate otherwise, we understand.
I think.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
I hope to be able to watch these guys.
Yeah, I hope it works out.
Travis, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Nice to meet you.
You have this to put on the strap for the
Okay, that's great. Great to hear. I'd like to do that.
Appreciate it. Good
All
luck.
right. Did you know that before? No, no, I don't know.